Welcome to the NewsHour. Voting in the New Hampshire primary is in its final hours tonight.
President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump hope the primary results will secure them virtual holds for their respective parties' 2024 nominations and foreshadow a 2020 rematch this November. Lisa Desjardins is in Concord, New Hampshire's capital city, at the election night party of Trump's sole remaining challenger, that is former UN ambassador and South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. So, Lisa, tell us about the turnout so far. What's it looking like, and what does that mean for the candidates?
You know, a few days ago, New Hampshire's Secretary of State predicted record turnout for Republicans. So far, what we've seen and been hearing it's been steady. He adjusted his estimate today to say he thinks it'll still be strong. What does this mean? It depends on where you look. Heavy Democratic turnout, especially in suburban and urban districts, might be good for Nikki Haley. Heavy turnout farther away from the city's Democratic precincts might be good for someone like Dean Phillips. We have run into a lot of Trump voters today. In the end, all of these campaigns have been scrambling today to get out their voters.
In the Granite State, a decision day that will shape the presidential race. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley needs to show she can compete with former President Donald Trump. And her message both echoes and rejects him.
I know you love America too, and I know you want a new generational leader.
And a vote for Nikki Haley.
For her, an auspicious start. Just after midnight, all 6 voters in the town of Dixville Notch cast their ballots for Haley. Her strength relies in part on voters like this one, independents and Democrats who want new leaders.
It'd be the first time in many decades that I actually voted for a Republican for president. It's been a very long time.
Why?
Well, again, new ideas, fresh face.
Trump, too, was at the polls today, and of course, Haley came up.
And I don't care if she stays in. Let her do whatever she wants. It doesn't matter. There's never been a movement like this. Make America great again in the history of our country.
Trump supporters predict this ends tonight.
So I say President Trump wins by at least double digits today and inspires Nikki Haley to drop out of the race, and then the Republicans will all unite behind President Trump.
That's Trump's closing message, Republican unity, showcased as he appeared with 3 other former competitors at a rally last night.
Now is the time for the Republican Party to come together. We have to unify.
But Trump served up that kumbaya with a jagged knife aimed at Haley.
Sadly, not everyone is willing to put our country first. Here in New Hampshire, Nikki Haley has made an unholy alliance with rhinos, never Trumpers, Americans for no prosperity.
At her closing rally last night, Haley cast Trump as now the establishment.
You've got one who's got the entire political elite all around him. It's all of Congress. It's all these legislative people. He's got the media elite around him.
For the Democrats, some ballot 101, as grassroots Biden supporters held signs explaining how to write in his name. President Biden is not on the ballot because of a dispute over the date of the vote. Those writing him in are expressing loyalty.
President Biden has done an incredible job. He has gotten no recognition for it whatsoever.
For some, it's all symbolic.
It's probably, not important. We're a tiny little state. We have 4 little votes in the Electoral College. But I think for democracy in the campaign, I think it'd be really terrific if we gave him a good send-off.
But some serious competitors want to disrupt the party. Minnesota Congressman Dean Phillips, who rallied scores of people last night in Manchester, and author Marianne Williamson, who has campaigned on higher minimum wage, declaring a climate emergency, and tackling poverty.
So many people haven't heard of her because she doesn't have the big money to advertise and flyers and all that. So that's the clincher. But if today people hear, they're going to maybe be curious. So I think her chances are awesome because her message is awesome.
And Williamson has been here, unlike Biden, who today was in Virginia, campaigning on an issue that Democrats hope will be big for them this year, abortion.
I believe Roe v. Wade got it right, and so do a majority of Americans.
But the political spotlight remains, at least for a few more hours, on New Hampshire and how voters see the current and former presidents.
There are a few ways to look at this unusual primary, but in the end, for Nikki Haley tonight, the live free or die state is truly do or die for her campaign.
So, Lisa, when you talk to the Haley campaign, what do they tell you about what they need and what they expect tonight?
You won't be surprised. Every campaign on Election Day expresses confidence. They feel like their voters will come out. That said, their campaign manager did send out a memo that was given to some of us reporters. In that memo, they were trying to express that they are not going to cede the race tonight. We'll see what decision she makes, but they were laying out a path through South Carolina, through Super Tuesday, stressing which states, including South Carolina, have primaries in which voters of other parties can vote in the Republican primary. They know that those are the voters that they have. And I will tell you that her one-on-one is really a critical factor here in New Hampshire. They want Haley to spend more time one-on-one in other states. I talked to one voter who was undecided until she met Haley yesterday, and then today she brought herself and 2 friends to vote for her at the polls in New Hampshire.
So, Lisa, we know by 8 p.m. Eastern all of the polls will close. When should we expect results?
That's right. You know, this was a conversation our producer Matt Loffman had with the Secretary of State's office. That's right. Some polls close at 7, some 7:30, but all of them, as you say, done by 8 o'clock Eastern. That's the first time that the Associated Press would actually give a call in this race, although don't know exactly when. But we do expect results to come in relatively quickly here, and the Secretary of State's office says they should have most results in by 10 o'clock Eastern tonight.
Lisa Desjardins at Haley headquarters in Concord, New Hampshire for us tonight. Lisa, thank you. To break